Which one's it?
Why can't they just use Z?
The top is Z.
Oh, one question?
No, I was just
Okay.
I've never had them doing this for no reason.
Let's do this one here. So this is one that some people that did A4 had a trouble with. And so AZ to the third minus 8, Z squared plus 2Z plus 4. And it says to reduce it, or write it in the simplest form. And this is a little bit of a toughie if you forgot this little top part up here. And that little 3 kind of gives it away. You guys remember our factoring formulas? And it said something like this: a to the third minus b to the third. And there's a little formula for that. It's the factoring of difference of two cubes. And it looks like this: it's a minus b, then it's a squared plus ab plus b squared. That's a little tough. And that's what students usually forget. Oh, you had that formula. Remember, there's 3 different formulas. Let's do the other 2. There's 3 different formulas for 2 pieces only. There's that one. There's the plus formula. So it's a plus b, a squared minus ab plus b squared. Good. And then the other one here, so a squared minus b squared. Anybody remember that one? That was the easy one.
A plus B times A minus B.
Perfect, So if you have 2 terms, it has to be one of those 3 in order for them to factor down. If it isn't, it doesn't factor. And notice there's no a squared plus b squared, because there's no way to cancel off the middle term and still have a positive b at the end. Okay. So with it, I think the one that we want to use is this one right here. See some people writing on the formula still. Go for it. I'll wait a little bit. So off to the side. Let me do it off to the side. So z to the third minus 8. So the question is, what is being squared to give you z to the third? That's easy. That's z. What is being squared to give you 8? 2. And so what we do is we just label, this is my a value, that's my b value. I'm going to follow this formula right here. So come on this side here, I'm going to follow the pattern here, open up parenthesis, a is z, plus, minus sign, b is 2, square my a value, plus, multiply the a to b together, gives me 2z, plus sign again, and then I'm going to go 2 times 2 is 4. On the bottom, oh, this is what I see. Look at this. Isn't that and is that the same thing? So I know what I'm going to cancel now. So this whole thing here cancels with this whole thing here. And Camille, tell me, is that the answer in the back of the book?
Yeah.
Great.
Did you mind?
Wouldn't it be on the top z squared minus 2z because it's a negative 2 for the b value?
Abe, say that again.
So on the top, wouldn't it be z squared minus 2z because the b value is a negative 2?
It's not a negative. It's you're subtracting positive. It's not negative.
Wait, what?
No.
For sure. Abe, I got you.
It's a squared plus ab. So the a squared is the z squared, and then plus ab. ab is negative 2 times z.
Gotcha. Okay, Abe, gotcha. So the formula in here already includes the negative as part of the formula.
Wait.
The only thing you're filling in are the numbers and z's, not
So,
negatives
Wait,
or
so
positives.
you're saying B is negative 2?
Yeah, because that's what's written down.
This
Wait.
B is positive 2.
it's an equal sign.
Oh, it looks like a negative sign.
Sorry, there you go. Maybe that. Equal sign.
Okay.
Yeah, so the negative and positive is part of the formula. Some textbooks don't have it that way. Your textbook does. It writes the sign as part of it. Okay, are we good with that one?
Yeah.
Done, done. Awesome. Can I erase? No, I got 2 people still writing. Go for it.
Can I take a picture of it to send it to my tutor?
Yes.
Because she's going to be like, oh yeah, we're idiots. Because what we did was we took the top part and we made it z minus 2, and then we put it all and then cubed that. But now I don't think that works.
No. In fact, z minus 2 would not work because when you expand things out, it becomes bigger. It doesn't cancel. And real quick, I guess I should say this here. This one here, the reason why this all works is because in Algebra 1, you guys remember back to Algebra 1? If you were to multiply this out, so if I were to multiply this times this gives me z to the third. This times this gives me a positive z, 2z squared. Real quick here, just wanna, this is gonna be a 4z. Okay, the reason why you have a minus sign here is because when you multiply this guy out, notice what happens. What am I seeing over here?
You're just subtracting everything.
These opposite signs, that sign and that sign is what undoes all the middle terms. They cancel them off. And so when you get here, that guy's gone with this guy's gone with this guy, and you're just left with the first and the last, and you're done. Are we good? So I think in Algebra 2, in Algebra 1, you guys used to multiply these together. And that's what should be one of the homework assignments, was to see this happening with this little special form. So now we're going backwards on. Did you guys factor these guys in Algebra 1? Difference of two cubes or no? Did you guys see those?
I don't think so.
Okay, so it's a new.
No wonder we got it wrong.
Some Algebra 1 textbooks have it, some don't. That's kind of like the level of difficulty or rigor in the textbook. Okay, are we getting it now though? Sweet. All right, let's keep on going. Almost done with this stuff. Let's see, we did, we made the quadratic formula last time, didn't we?
Yeah, and that's where we
That's
stopped.
sweet. Okay, so now that we derived it, let's go for it here. If I have something that looks like this, ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, I can solve for x right away. Do negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Sorry, 1 second. Don't walk past that for a while. Okay. Kind of good to know this here. I was, back in my college days, that was like a long time ago. I was at Blockbuster. You know what Blockbuster is anymore? Okay, some people do, some people do. It used to be, the Blockbusters were like on every single street corner. They were like Starbucks. And so it used to have VHS, the DVDs came in, and then it had video games, right? So you would go and rent. In a physical store, you'd go and actually rent something. And so I remember walking in there, and the lady there, the manager, she was actually doing some homework. She's like, what's this stupid formula? And that makes that to go to here. I was like, oh yeah, that's a quadratic formula. It's negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Like, oh, that is so cool. So she writes it down. It's like, you get 3 movies for free. That's fun. So, moral of the story, it pays to have knowledge of mathematics, okay? May come in handy sometime. Okay, so with this one, let's go for it here. This is, use the quadratic formula to solve this. This is 94. 2x squared minus x minus 1 equals 0. So, we could do this by the Xbox 360 method. Is that right? Because the little 2 in front over there? Well, generally what we do in algebra is, if it's easy to factor by just quick Xbox and you're done, you do it. Otherwise, you just go to quadratic formula. We're good? Those are the major ones that we know. Okay, boom. Label your A, label your B, which is -1, label your C, and go for it. See if you guys can finish it before me. Okay, every equal the negative of -1 plus or minus the square root of b squared, which is -1 squared minus 4ac. Hey, real quick here, where did the 4 come from? Anybody?
Does he have negative x labeled as b?
Uh-huh.
That's
So,
an
we,
invisible one.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, so for the quadratic formula, it's only the numbers in front, not the variables themselves. Okay. All right, and what I usually do, I just do this off to the side, because there's a lot of math involved. So why rewrite the whole thing all over again if I can simplify all this out? So just for a little while, that becomes a -1 times -1. This becomes, and then what I do is I look through all these to see if it's gonna be negative or positive at the end. So I have a negative here, and then it'll be positive. 4 times 2 is 8, times 1 is 8 still, and then voila, I get myself a 9 off to the side. Are we good? So I've solved that completely without having to do a lot of work and rewriting things. That's a 1, plus or minus, square root of 9 over 4. And 9 is a perfect square, love it, that becomes a 3. Sorry, I started talking, just should have took water with me. Okay, and then how do we finish this off? One of two ways here, I like to just put arrows, because these guys always give me 2 different answers. The top part I add, so 1 plus 3 divided by 4, voila, how about a 1? 1 minus 3 gives me -2, and how about a -1/2 is my final answer? Are we good? Easy. All right, how many solved that before I did on the board? 6, okay, cool, more than half, okay. All right, because it turned out to be fractions, I know that I could have factored it using Xbox 360, we good? If this was not a perfect square, then there was no way for me to factor it. Are we good? Erase, do another one over here. If you have your notes, you know what the next one's gonna be. You can start it out already.
Did you just get triangle? Was he right? It's number 98.
98. Uh-huh.
Did you actually just guess? Did you seriously just guess 98 randomly and he was right? No way.
That should be 22 here. So all yours, go for it. I'm gonna go use the restroom real quick here. Get some water. I'll be right back. You guys try that.
I mean, still.
Oh. Turn off the recording. No. Boom.
You can say hi to the at-home students.
Hi, Brooke. Hi, Hudson.
Hudson,
doesn't
you
even-
still owe me money?
No, neither does Brooke. When
Okay.
I'm even seeing Brooke tonight, and it's gonna be great. Maddie. We're also on yes on Jacob. Gee, sorry. I think he's just being an idiot.
Or we could just take the advice of Trey.
No, never take any advice from Trey ever, period.
Why? I think that's the best advice.
Way better.
5 plus, 5 plus or minus 2. I think use the quadratic formula.
Just make me read it. Okay, Maddie got the same answer as us.
As us?
Yeah, so we all wrote that.
I don't know, you might be like, is he actually using I don't know.
All right, check in and make sure the numbers are correct.
88. Oh wait, I'm just in. Wait.
Just do the quadratic formula.
This is
88.
already right.
22 times 4. I forgot to
He'll check it with that.
Are we good?
I
At
believe
least
you.
the numbers, Charlie? Are we
2
good
times
with the
4
numbers?
is 8. You're just doing 2 times 4, but twice.
Oh, got there, okay.
It's 88, everybody.
The answer is not 88, everybody.
That's not what she's saying.
No.
The negative 4 times 1 times 22.
Idiot, I'm doing the math
Oh,
problem,
you're
but
doing that. Oh, you're doing that.
idiot. I'm so nice.
I didn't do it.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that fits, idiot, and then I'm so nice. Okay, let's go with negative 10 times negative 10 is 100. We've got a minus sign on our hands at the end. And we have, let's see,
Negative
that's 88,
88,
but
as
it's
Camille
subtracting
said.
from 100.
12, right?
And I'm gonna go 12.
You didn't know we were.
Wait,
Over.
12?
Yeah. 100 minus 88 is 12.
Yeah, because we still have the 100. to
Oh, it's
subtract from.
not right, 22.
Got it, okay.
And then.
Are we good now?
Mm,
And then we need to reduce 12.
Can we? Oh, wait, isn't it?
Yeah, you can pull it 2 out.
Pull
Isn't
two
it like
out,
2,
2
3 or
times
something
6.
like that? Yeah,
Nope.
no, right, isn't it gonna be 2
Yeah,
and then
there's
3?
a 2 at the bottom.
There we go, yep. So we've got a perfect, actually 4 times 2, 4 times 3 is 12, right? 4 is the perfect
Yeah.
square.
So you pull a 2 out and then, or it's gonna be 2 and then inside 3.
Perfect, uh-huh.
Over the 2.
Real quick here, I noticed as I was walking around, I had one person do this. Not gonna mention it. Not gonna mention who it was.
Tristan.
They had this, and what they did is they reduced this part, and this part, and this part at the same time. We good? You can't reduce the stuff inside yet. We good?
Wait, what?
So you can't reduce things inside with things outside. I just had one person do that. Just wanna mention it. Good there? When you reduce this stuff, it has to be this number here with the outside number with the outside number. It's always the outside numbers being reduced.
Thank you.
So,
Wait, Isabel, can you do anything more than that?
Yeah.
I think so. Let's see. Can 2 goes into 10?
Oh, wait, yeah.
Yeah.
that
Can
was-
2 go to 2? Yes, yeah. 2 goes into 10 5 times, and then 2 goes into 1, so that actually falls away completely. And we've got ourselves a 5 plus or minus root 2. Could we have done this by factoring?
No. Because you have root 3.
No
There's
way. There was no
We
way. to do this by
actually
factoring.
did it.
No, it's just what.
Okay.
Just agree with everyone and say no so we don't switch
No.
with more.
No, but you completing the squares the method.
Okay, one more for practice. Just bigger numbers. We're good?
Wait, there's gonna be more bigger numbers?
Yep.
I don't like big numbers, they scare me.
Anything above 2 and above 1.
Stand up to them, Camille. Stand up to them. Number 104. You're tracking with the 22.
I heard you talking crap about me back there.
She's actually come off with it.
I find that hard to believe. It's not It makes, oh no.
All right, go for it.
Okay, wait,
Actually, no. Let's do this one together. At least
What?
do this. At least.
can we try it and then do it together?
How about you set it equal to 0 first? You set it up, and then we'll see what we can do. So set it equal to 0. Some people have done already. So I think we have, and putting it in order, I think we have 16x squared minus 40x plus 22. Agreed there? Okay, before we put into quadratic formula, here's another thing for algebra 1. Hopefully you guys noticed. That if I set equal to 0, if I divide by 2, if I divide by 3, if I divide by 10, by 15, it'll still give me the same numbers at the end, good? 0 doesn't change my variables. So something like this. So let's say, this is off the top of my head here. 15 times x equals 0. What is x? 0. If I change this to 215, what's my x?
0.
Still, doesn't matter, right? I just multiplied it by a whole bunch, it still gives me a 0, no matter what. And then this one here. What would x have to be in order to give me this to be true?
-1.
Isabel, -1, everybody agreed? So if I change this number in front back to 15, does that change that? No. So multiplying through or dividing through by a constant doesn't change my 0. So 16, 40, and 22 give me a number that will go into all three of those numbers. 2 does, yeah. So before we start the quadratic formula, to make things a little bit easier on us, let's divide both sides by 2. Gives me 8x minus 20 plus 11. At least a little bit better. We're good? Than having to deal with that. But we still gotta do the quadratic formula. Back we go. Negative.
You can? Oh no.
Well,
I don't like my numbers thing.
well, when you square it, it's positive. So, sort of.
Alright, and then out of curiosity here, how many of you guys have calculators with you? Got 1, 2, 3, okay.
Does my phone count as a calculator?
No.
Okay. Then no.
Because we're gonna do one with.
I never bought a calculator for geometry because my mom didn't want to spend the money on it.
Uh-huh.
So-
Understand. This is for the next problem, not this one, but,
I'm stuck now.
okay, no problem, let's go for it here. We'll go for it together here. So it's 2 times A,
But I never
2 times-
simplified, so my numbers are really big.
uh-huh. So you're gonna have something that's 4 times big over here, and 2 times big everywhere else.
Yeah.
No problem.
You supposed
Okay.
to do with big numbers?
Off to the side here.
Okay.
Maybe 20 times big with 20. Everybody okay with 400? And then I got, you guys have to help me out here. 4 times 8 times 11. 352.
Oh no, what did I do?
Okay, so I'm hoping that 48 is going to be inside here. Tristan, are you good there? 48?
Yeah.
Okay. And then if we can reduce down 48 a bit. And what I try to do is I try to pull out perfect squares already. Like if I know 4 goes into something, I'll pull out the 4. If I know 9 goes into it, I'll pull out the 9. So I'm thinking here, I can take out the 4. 4 times 12. That's another 4 times 3. So notice I have a pair of 4s that get to go out.
Something.
Boom. Anybody with the final answer here?
Yeah, that's what I had. It's not. Yeah, you just divide them by, you can divide everything by 4. That's a 1 out of 2. That's
Okay, so it doesn't need to be there.
So another question came up is someone had bigger numbers, but because they didn't divide by 2, but that's okay still. You're still going to do the same answer anyway. So just bigger numbers to deal
Yeah,
with.
but
I did 4.
I don't know where to go from here.
Okay, I'll check everything. All right, everybody hopefully have finished off already.
Is this,
Since that's everything I got with the big numbers, and I don't like that number.
That is okay. That guy, 40 times 40 is 1,600.
Oh, well, I can't do math. That's great.
So that'll help you out. There should not be a negative inside the square root.
Okay.
That'll be something we'll learn later on. So
So
start
we're just
here.
gonna do that.
Yep. Let's do this.
I also tried to do it the long one and ended up with a negative inside the square root.
But which negative number did you have?
Yeah.
Negative
Okay.
248.
Class, let's do it. Since some of you guys did it the long way or not reducing this one here, let's go with it. The step inside the square root should have been,
1.2.
this times this times
Wait a minute.
this times this. Is that right? So anybody with a calculator here, give me the simplified version. I got 40 times 40 is 1,600. Minus someone give me 4 times 16 times 22.
Oh, it's 40 times 40, not 40 times 2. Idiot.
are you talking about yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm loud.
Yeah, same.
Tristan, what do you get?
I got, spins the battery.
Let's go.
1,405?
8. 1,408, I thought.
8, okay. Uh-huh. Okay, can you also subtract from 1,600?
Wait, what does that give you?
Should be 192, yeah.
Yeah, should do that in my head.
Alright, 192?
Yep.
Then that's when you start factoring stuff down.
And this is why big numbers scare me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know we could simplify it.
Okay, we good there?
Pretty sure I didn't.
Let's finish it off. Let's finish it off. I got a 20 here, 4 here, 16. If you guys could pay attention real quickly here, this is kind of important here as we do this. Remember last time, we reduced all of them by 2, right? This one's gonna not reduce by 16, but notice what we're gonna do. Instead of just reducing from the bottom here, we're just gonna say what number goes into 20? 4 and 16 at the same time.
4.
4. So what we do is we just reduce each of these guys by 4.
Let's go.
5 plus or minus root 3.
So 5 plus negative root 3 over 4. Are we good? So that's kind of cool. Each one of these, again, this is not a whole lesson about it. This is just a fast repeat of Algebra 1. Are we good? So if you're stuck on something, please ask me. Otherwise, we go from there. Okay. Next one, we definitely need a calculator on this one. So those with calculators, help me out as we do this.
Bigger are the numbers.
Oh, not so much bigger, as we're gonna get into decimals.
How did they do it?
It only turns on
We were trying to use it to the math class like 2 weeks ago, and it got the answer wrong for like 2 times. It's not an intelligent calculus. You remember it got like 2 times 2 wrong.
It just turned on.
It got it.
I wanna see how badly.
Wait, is that point two?
It was actually off.
Yeah. Oh, bloody.
Okay.
I like that.
So those with calculators are gonna help us
Whoa,
out.
whoa.
Those with
Not a
calculators.
fan at all.
Even if you can do a square.
Uh-oh.
Whoa.
Oh.
Another reason why, yep, with those without calculators, you're not gonna be able to do it, unless you're, no, you won't be able to.
Yeah,
Those
my
with
brain doesn't
calculators,
just multiply
No, you
decimals.
could do it, it'd just take a long.
It
long
took a
time.
really long time.
It's not fun.
Can we factor this, you think?
I mean,
Wait,
I was
wait.
probably a
One,
square.
you can factor it by 1.
No, because it's
Wow.
You would not be able to factor this, no way, so that's why the quadratic formula is so important, that's why we figured out the quadratic formula. It was this humongous opening of mathematics, because now you could solve
Oh.
any problem whatsoever, right? So those with calculators help us out as we do this, as we have homework questions very similar to it.
It turned on.
I'm gonna go with, opposite of this, so 0.08 plus or minus, 0.08 squared minus 4 times negative 3.22 times a 28.651. And at this point, we only are gonna get approximations. We good?
How much do you want us to round to?
So we have, let's see, there's 3 decimal places here, there's 2, so I'm thinking 2 decimal places.
2 decimal places.
All right, on the bottom, I said I have a 2 times a negative 3.22, which is our A value. So, remember there's 2 different answers here, right? So plus or minus. So anybody can kind of simplify that for me right there. So off to the side, you gotta go 0.08 squared minus 4 times negative 3.22 times 28.657. Anybody give me the answer inside the square root? Alright, generally speaking, if you want a good answer and you're still at the square root, you have 2 decimal places, you probably want to leave about 4 decimal places inside the square root. It's going to be punching down. Alright, can I get a first on somebody that got it?
Negative 369.02488.
Ooh,
What did you say?
probably not, and here's what I got. This is going to become a positive. I got this one, they'll both be
Oh
positive.
wait, I just did the like back part. I didn't do the front part.
Oh, gotcha.
I just got that big number at the
0 point,
I didn't do that. I got the, like, what the 4 and all that would equal.
oh, gotcha, this does this.
Yeah.
Okay.
you want the whole thing?
The whole thing.
Oh. Okay, I'll get there.
Anybody with an answer?
I'm trying to show you. I know it's
So wait,
Plus, we almost
wait,
be wrong.
we're adding? Okay.
Yeah, because it's subtraction of a negative, so we're gonna be adding.
I will not.
And the problem is, we're not gonna know if it's wrong because you're
Wait,
doing the
subtraction of a negative,
So
wait,
I say
what? Oh, wait, so you,
Yeah.
wait, what?
This is not good.
Wait, so do we add?
Okay,
Yeah, so let me back up.
Yeah,
It was like this, it was subtracting of a negative,
So then it'll become
negatives together,
positive,
positive,
gotcha.
yeah.
so we'll be adding all this up together. Sorry, still say again?
No, we just turned off with the answer. I didn't get that. Are you kidding me?
Just, yes.
Okay, can I get a second on that one? Is that the same?
What'd you say, Stella?
It's written on the board.
369.10856. Anybody else got something different?
Yeah.
What do we?
So check,
Oh, yes, that's what I have.
okay, I got a second on it, okay?
Oh,
Sounds good, and if someone does have a calculator, got something different, you want me to check your work, that's fine too, I'll check it.
Wait a minute.
Alright, on the bottom here, I got a negative 6.44,
Six divided.
and the only thing I guess we can do is, on fractions, we don't like negatives on bottom fractions. So that, for this to be an answer, we probably just scoop the negative in front. So it'd be a negative of this whole piece here.
See, we're rounding to 4 decimal places.
Generally, if you want to keep 2 decimal places, inside the square root you leave 4. You kind of leave double. Kind of general rule.
I got something different than Stella.
Okay.
I don't know if we've gone too far for me to say something different, but I got something different.
And
Cause that was my numbers were all that, and then that, and then I got that.
I think it's just.
Yeah. Trying to find the square root.
Calculators will like square roots and change the decimals.
And it's
My
not-
calculator, I
really
literally
didn't
type
have
in
much.
Number 25.
I'm gonna check.
Like
but
sometimes,
I'll
I don't
remove
think
it
you
like
say
that.
25 is right there. I'm like, no, I want the non.
Is it a hand or a calculator?
Like, calculator.
Like a-
There's
okay.
one happening right now.
You left the 5 out.
Do you remember which one we were trying to do that?
So you-
I know, it's
You
around.
left the 5 out.
Yeah, that's what I just wanted to say. It was meant to be. Dylan,
This might just be me, cause I was kind of wrapping up from, in, calculations, and I didn't really hear most of what you were saying, but it looks like, 3.22 up there is positive, I'm fairly sure it should be negative.
yeah, it's a negative here, and then also it's a negative here. Because we're subtracting a negative, then we're gonna be adding at the end of it all.
Right, okay.
Does that help? Okay. I'm gonna, let's see, Camille, did you get, are you redoing it here?
I'm rechecking my math.
Abe, you got this one, right? Tristan, did you get the same answer here?
Yeah, I got the same one inside the square root.
Okay, you had the square root on it. Okay,
Wait.
sounds good. I'm gonna go with that right there.
Yes.
God, talk to me, when are we out of here? Is it
35.
35 after?
Yeah.
Okay, so we finished the whole 4, we finished all 4 pieces now, right? Factoring, completed the square root method, and the quadratic formula. So we start off on Monday is, I'm gonna just throw problems at you. And you tell me, first of all, which is the best way to solve this? And then we're gonna go solve it. We good? So we're gonna do those, and then
I
hopefully
got
maybe get
another
into-
answer now, so I'm at 2 different answers.
I do need 2 people, can I just call on you guys real quick, 2 people to wipe down the desks. Isabel and Landon, can I pick on you guys here? And we're gonna sign up sheet here after.
Yeah, I think you did it every problem.
Yeah, I
We were expecting to come after, right?
I just get one answer.
I
It's
don't
still
think
fast.
I don't think you're
You
right.
can't deny.
Are they out already?
See if-